First contact. Dr. Maya Chen rubbed her tired eyes as she stared at the anomalous readings on her monitor. For 3 consecutive nights, the same inexplicable signal pulsed from the distant exoplanet designated HC 2219b. The pattern defied natural explanation, too regular, too precise. Maya's colleagues had dismissed it as instrument error, but she knew better. "Still chasing your aliens?" Dr. Rodriguez called as he passed by her workstation at the Atacama Large Observatory. Maya forced a smile, just double-checking some unusual data. No point inviting more ridicule. As the youngest senior researcher at the facility, she already fought daily battles for respect. After midnight, when the observatory emptied, Maya slipped into the main dome. Unauthorized solo observations were against protocol, but she needed undisturbed time with the primary telescope. The desert night outside was silent as she adjusted the settings, focusing on the distant star system that had captured her attention. The signal appeared immediately, stronger than before. Maya's heart raced as she recorded the data, meticulously documenting each pulse. When she reached for her coffee mug, her elbow knocked against something on the shelf behind her. An unusual artifact discovered near the observatory site years ago, thought to be ancient indigenous art. The stone object tumbled, striking the floor with a resonant tone rather than a crack. Maya lunged to catch it, but froze when it began to emit a soft blue glow that pulsed in perfect synchronization with the signal on her monitor. "Impossible," she whispered, reaching toward it cautiously. The air around the artifact shimmered, distorting like heat waves above hot asphalt. Maya stepped back, knocking over her chair as the distortion expanded, forming what appeared to be a miniature whirlpool of light in midair. A flash of energy temporarily blinded her. When her vision cleared, a figure hovered beside her desk. Barely reaching her waist in height, the being had smooth, silvery blue skin that seemed to catch and reflect the dim observatory lights. Its features were unmistakably humanoid, with expressive eyes that studied her with clear intelligence. Maya's scientific mind cataloged details even as she backed away. Bipedal structure, proportionate limbs, no visible weapons, clothing made of material that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. The being raised its hands in what appeared to be a universal gesture of peace. "I mean no harm," it said, in accented but perfect English. "I am Phelan, emissary of the Nyari. We have waited long for someone to answer our call." Maya's training abandoned her. This wasn't a discovery. This was first contact. Her mouth opened, but no words emerged. Phelan tilted his head. "You are frightened. Understandable. But time is short, and I have traveled far to find someone who could hear us." Finding her voice at last, Maya asked the only question that mattered. "How do you know our language?" Phelan's expression shifted to what might have been a smile. "We have been listening to your world for generations. I volunteered to be the first to make contact when we detected someone focusing on our signal." He gestured to the artifact on the floor. "That relic is ours, left behind by our ancestors who visited Earth millennia ago." Maya's scientific curiosity overcame her fear. She took a tentative step forward. "Why now? Why me?" "Because," Phelan said softly, "our world is dying, and in all our observations, you showed the compassion and intelligence we hoped to find." Worlds apart. Maya managed to smuggle Phelan into her apartment on the observatory campus, heart pounding with each passing colleague. Her small living space, normally a sanctuary of solitude, now felt electric with the presence of her otherworldly guest. "You should remain hidden," she explained, drawing the curtains closed. "If others discover you, I can't predict what might happen." Phelan nodded, exploring her apartment with childlike curiosity. His movements were graceful, despite the unfamiliar environment, his fingers delicately examining her books, plants, and technology. "Your species values knowledge," he observed, gesturing toward her overflowing bookshelves. "As do we." When Phelan accidentally activated her sound system,
Mozart filled the room. His reaction was immediate, eyes widening, body becoming perfectly still. Maya reached to turn it off, but he raised his hand. "Please no. This is inspiring. We have music, but nothing with this complexity of emotion." That night became a cultural exchange. Maya played different musical styles, while Thalen explained how the Nyari communicated through mathematical harmonies. He demonstrated by creating patterns of light between his palms that shifted with his thoughts, a visual language of extraordinary beauty. "Can all your people do this?" Maya asked, mesmerized. "Most, though I was chosen as emissary partly from my skill in light speech. Among my kind, I am considered quite expressive." As days passed, Maya maintained her regular work schedule while secretly rushing back to continue their conversations. She found herself lingering in the moments when their hands would accidentally touch during their exchanges of Earth objects for Nyari demonstrations. Despite his smaller stature, there was something profoundly compelling about Thalen. His wisdom, his gentle humor, the way his eyes seemed to see beyond surface appearances. "Your world seems so focused on physical differences," Thalen remarked one evening as they watched a documentary. "Among the Nyari, we value the uniqueness of minds above all." Maya felt a blush rise to her cheeks when his gaze met hers. Not all humans are so limited in their thinking. That night, as Maya prepared for bed, she found Thalen gazing out her window at the stars. "Do you miss your home?" she asked softly. "Yes," he admitted, "but I find myself increasingly drawn to yours, or perhaps to aspects of it." His eyes met hers with unmistakable meaning. Maya felt her breath catch. The connection between them transcended species, logic, and perhaps wisdom. When his fingers gently brushed against hers, a subtle glow emanated from his skin, transferring momentarily to hers. "What was that?" she whispered. "Among my people, it is how we share emotion," Thalen explained, his voice softer than usual. "I apologize if it was unwelcome." "It wasn't," Maya replied, surprising herself with her honesty. "It felt like understanding." Their fingers intertwined more deliberately this time, the glow spreading up her arm with a pleasant warmth that seemed to connect directly to her emotions. In that moment, physical differences became meaningless, the connection between their minds creating a bridge across the vast differences of their biology and origins. Later, Maya would record in her private journal that the impossible had happened. She had begun to fall for someone from another world, someone whose existence she couldn't share with anyone, someone whose people needed her help to survive. And against all scientific logic, she didn't regret it for a moment.
Hidden connection. The government-issued security badge on Dr. Jensen's coat caught Maya's attention immediately when he arrived unannounced at the observatory. His questions seemed casual, but his eyes missed nothing. "Interesting power fluctuations from your lab lately, Dr. Chan," he remarked while examining her workspace. "Almost like you're running equipment beyond our standard array." Maya maintained her composure. "Just testing some new spectrographic analysis protocols. They're power-intensive." At her apartment, Thalen sensed her anxiety the moment she returned. "Something troubles you." Maya explained the visit while pacing nervously. "They're monitoring power usage." "And Jensen? He's not regular observatory administration." Thalen's expression grew serious. "Then perhaps it's time I share more with you." He retrieved a small crystalline device from his clothing. When activated, it projected a three-dimensional star map between them. "My world, Nyari Prime, orbits this star." He indicated a point of light. "For generations, we've observed Earth. Your development path mirrors our own from millennia ago." The projection shifted to show his home planet, once vibrant with color, gradually dimming. "Our sun is destabilizing. We've developed technology to address it, but lack a crucial element abundant only on Earth." "So this is an extraction mission." Maya felt a pang of disappointment. "No." Thalen moved closer, the star map illuminating his features. "We seek partnership, exchange. We offer knowledge in return for resources." That night, their conversation extended into the early morning hours. moving from scientific exchange to personal revelation. When Maya asked about Nayari relationships, Thalan's skin flushed with bioluminescent patterns. "We form deep mental bonds," he explained. "Physical connection enhances but doesn't define intimacy. Among humans, it's often the opposite," Maya admitted. Their hands found each other's again, but this time Thalan slowly extended the luminescence until it enveloped them both in a private aurora. Maya gasped as she felt his emotions, his fascination, his worry for his people, and underneath it all, a growing affection specifically for her. "I've never experienced anything like this," she whispered. "Nor have I across boundaries of worlds," he replied. Their foreheads touched gently, the glow intensifying between them. The intimacy of shared consciousness made traditional physical limitations seem insignificant. In that luminous connection, Maya understood Thalan in ways words could never convey, and he experienced her in return, a perfect reciprocity of minds and hearts. The moment was shattered by Maya's phone vibrating urgently on the table, a message from her colleague Wei. "Emergency meeting called. Jensen bringing in security team tomorrow. Full facility inspection." Their eyes met in understanding. Their secret couldn't stay hidden much longer. "I need to contact my people," Thalan said urgently. "There may be a way."
Impossible choices. The observatory hummed with unusual activity as security personnel installed additional monitoring equipment. Maya slipped through the corridors, a small sample container concealed in her lab coat. Inside was a communication device Thalan had fashioned from Earth components and Nayari technology. "Dr. Chen," Dr. Rodriguez called from behind her, causing Maya to freeze. "Jensen's looking for you, something about anomalous readings from the main telescope during your night shifts." "I'll find him after I run these samples," she replied, forcing a casual tone. Back in her lab, Maya locked the door and activated the device. It projected Thalan's message to his homeworld on frequencies undetectable by Earth technology. Her hands trembled as she worked. Every moment increased the risk of discovery. The lab door rattled suddenly. "Dr. Chen? Security override in progress," Jensen's voice announced. Maya frantically gathered the evidence when a small maintenance panel in the wall slid open, revealing Wei's face. "This way," he whispered. "Quickly." She crawled through the service tunnel as Jensen entered her lab behind her. Wei sealed the panel and led her through a maze of maintenance passages. "I've suspected something was happening," Wei admitted as they emerged in a storage area. "The energy signatures match theories about dimensional communications. I've been covering your tracks in the data logs." "Why help me?" Maya asked. Wei smiled slightly. "Because if we're not alone in the universe, that's too important to let bureaucrats control the narrative." That night, Maya found Thalan preparing a small device in her apartment. "The response from my world came faster than expected," he explained. "They're sending a diplomatic delegation, but I must meet them at the original contact point." His eyes met hers. "And I must prepare you." "Prepare me?" Thalan approached, holding what appeared to be a delicate circlet woven from luminescent material. "This will temporarily alter my physical form, a technology we developed for exploration of worlds with different environments." "Is it safe?" Maya asked. "For short periods," he assured her, "but it would allow us to connect in ways meaningful to both our species." The implication was clear. Maya felt her heart race. Thalan activated the circlet, placing it around his neck. The air shimmered around him as his form gradually expanded, growing until he stood at human height, his features maintaining their ethereal quality, but now proportionate to hers. "It requires considerable energy," he explained, his voice deeper at this size. "I can maintain this form for only a few hours." When Maya stepped toward him, the space between them seemed charged with possibility. Their first embrace transcended scientific curiosity, becoming something neither had anticipated when their worlds first collided. That night, they discovered that, despite evolving on different planets, certain expressions of intimacy translated perfectly across the stars. Their connection was both alien and familiar, tender touches and whispered discoveries bridging the vast differences between their worlds. In the quiet aftermath, as they lay intertwined, Maya traced the patterns of light that still pulsed beneath his temporarily transformed skin. "When your delegation arrives, will you leave?" Thalan's expression contained both joy and sorrow. "My duty to my people requires it, but what we've discovered between us changes everything about how our worlds might relate to each other." "How can something so impossible feel so right?" Maya whispered. "Perhaps," Thalan suggested, drawing her closer, "the universe has been waiting for precisely this impossibility."
Bridge between stars. Dawn broke over the observatory as Maya and Thalen, now returned to his natural form, made their way to the isolated dome where they had first met. Wei had arranged for the security systems to experience a routine malfunction, giving them a narrow window of opportunity. Once the delegation arrives, Thalen explained, they'll establish a stable dimensional corridor. The future of both our worlds depends on these first official exchanges. Maya nodded, but her scientific focus was clouded by personal dread. Every step toward the dome was another step toward their inevitable separation. They weren't alone when they arrived. Dr. Jensen stood waiting, flanked by two security officers. "I knew if I watched long enough you'd lead me to your secret," he said, his expression triumphant. Imagine my surprise when satellite imagery showed energy signatures matching nothing in Earth's technological catalog. Maya stepped protectively in front of Thalen. "This isn't what you think." "It's exactly what I think," Jensen countered. "First contact, the most significant moment in human history, and you kept it to yourself." "Because I feared this exact reaction, treating peaceful contact as a security threat." The standoff was interrupted by Wei's arrival, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood the observatory's director and three distinguished scientists Maya recognized from international conferences. "What is this, Wei?" Jensen demanded. "Insurance," Wei answered calmly. "I've shared encrypted data with scientific authorities across 20 countries. If anything happens here that doesn't follow diplomatic protocols, that information goes public simultaneously." The director stepped forward. "We're scientists, Jensen. Our purpose is discovery, not detention." A subtle vibration began beneath their feet as light particles coalesced in the center of the dome, the same phenomenon that had preceded Thalen's arrival. This time, however, three figures materialized, each adorned with formal regalia that identified them as Niari officials. The next hours unfolded like a dream. Initial shock gave way to cautious, diplomatic exchanges, with Maya and Thalen serving as the bridge between worlds. The Niari delegation presented their proposal, shared technology in exchange for resources, with a promise of cultural exchange that would benefit both civilizations. As the humans and Niari established the groundwork for formal relations, Maya pulled Thalen aside. "You're leaving with them, aren't you?" Thalen's eyes held hers. "I must. As the first contact specialist, I'm needed to help prepare our world for increased interaction with yours." Maya struggled to maintain her composure. "Will I see you again?" From his garments, Thalen produced two identical crystalline devices. "These are paired quantum communicators. Distance, even between stars, means nothing to them." He placed one in her palm, closing her fingers around it. "My voice will always be able to reach you, and yours me." "It's not the same," Maya whispered. "No," he agreed, "but it is a beginning. The dimensional corridor will allow travel between our worlds once fully established. What we've found together has created a template for others to follow." Their farewell was witnessed only by the stars above the observatory dome. When Thalen touched her, the now familiar glow spread between them one last time. "In my language," he said softly, "we don't have a word for goodbye, only until our paths cross again." As the Niari delegation prepared to depart, the director approached Maya. "The scientific community is officially offering you the position of Earth's primary liaison to the Niari. You've earned it." Maya watched as Thalen joined his people in the shimmering portal. Before stepping through, he turned back, his eyes finding hers across the distance. That night, alone in her apartment, Maya activated the crystal communicator. It hummed softly before projecting a small hologram of Thalen above her palm. "Our astronomers have a saying, even stars separated by vast gulfs of space remain connected by gravity. What exists between us is no less powerful." Maya smiled through her tears. "Then consider this the first bridge between our worlds." "The first of many," Thalen promised, "and I will return to walk across it."
Outside her window, the night sky seemed different now, no longer a void of empty space, but a sea of possibility, where distance was merely a temporary inconvenience to hearts that had found each other across the stars.